Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ox Billiards in Seattle, Washington for the United States National Championship of 2022. It's David Burney in the booth. I'm going to have a variety of characters coming up for us. We're just about to get started with a great match to kick it off with Ali Al-Assaid against Jackie Wee. Ali, you might know as the first ever American player to play in the famed Crucible Theatre in Sheffield, England this past spring. So just getting a nice wide shot there of the whole room. Players are allowed a 1-minute warm-up. Very interesting about the way the United States Championship works out, that they only allowed 1 minute of practice before each match. So, but all the competitors are well versed in the game, so really it's just kind of warming up the arm a little bit in the morning. They've done all the practice before. You're not really going to find the form here on the table. The form is with you, and we're glad all of you are tuning in to the stream. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and twitch.tv. Feel free to look us up at Ox Billiards, and if you have any comments or questions, or there's always a good chat going about snooker things. Let's keep it about snooker. That's what we're here to watch. That's what we're here to enjoy. That's what we're here to talk about. And we're, keep it clean. We're all here to have a lot of fun, and we're glad you're joining us. So, frame one of a best of three between Jackie Wee and Ali Al-Assaid will be coming up shortly. And these round-robin matches, they are best of threes, so they'll be moving quickly. Got a lot of matches to get through. And cloudsnooker.com has a list of the entire tournament details. You can see all the players and the group structure on that page. And as results come in and breaks get billed, the results will be posted on that website. And as results come in, we'll be updating you as they do throughout the day. And the champion will be crowned on Labor Day Monday. Remember to tune in for that. And Mike Dominguez, the owner, the operator, the man behind it all here at Ox Billiards, joins me in the booth. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning to everybody watching. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I guess they would call it a bank holiday this Monday over in England.
That sounds about right, yeah. All those Brits from last weekend, if anybody had tuned in to the Women's World Championship or U.S. Open Championship, they were talking about a bank holiday that they had this past Monday, and a lot of us in North America are always confused about that, as it seems like every holiday over there is a bank holiday, where in North America we might have Labor Day or Martin Luther King Jr. Day or President's Day or Victoria Day back up in Canada. So
we'd like to market our holidays. Got to brand everything. Yeah, coming off a really great weekend for snooker here in Seattle, and starting this September and this year, this is actually the start of our second year here at Ox with the U.S. National Championship. Very happy to have it here. This should be a nice match coming up. Ali is the defending champion. He's also made his way to the Crucible as the first American to play in the Crucible.
And here we go in frame number 1, Ali breaking off. So I'm not sure too much of Jackie. A lot of these players are going to be a bit foreign to me, as I was not at the last year's championship at the New York Athletic Club there in New York City. But there's a few familiar names. Do you remember Ali from a Richler Cup back in 2017? So it's good to see some familiar faces of old, but always welcome to see some new faces and see what talent they possess. So tricky, these best of threes. You don't want to get too arrogant, really, and try to go for the big breaks, as there is a high break prize. But best of threes are pretty quick, and you slip one frame and you're behind it a bit, and you got to battle back to win 2 on the spin to continue on. So we'll see how that plays out. Don't know if many players are gonna go for a lot of shots early on.
Yeah, I think on that shot, Ali was just trying to get the cue back up safe. It looks like he left that red on in the middle for Jackie. Apologies. Is it going to bounce for the pink? He has the black and the blue.
That's a nice blue.
Yeah.
Always nice when you can take it off the spot like that. We've done for a bit more pace, now leaving him a shot from one side to the other side of the table. This brown that's above the bunch into the top right corner pocket. So
everybody should check out Cloud Snooker. They have live scoring, live brackets for this match and for the other 3 matches that are taking place. It's a pretty neat little system that the USSA has. We have these little tablets here that we keep score by each table, and then it gets automatically fed into that live bracket online. So you can keep up to the second info on what match you're following.
that just might be first frame nerves a little bit. That's usually in Ali's wheelhouse right there. So he's left an opportunity for Jackie. Good morning, Vineet. Good to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. It's a player from the Vancouver area. Vancouver, Canada, that is. We also have Vancouver, Washington. So this might be a good opportunity for Jackie. Although the pink is getting tied up, the black is open to both top corner pockets.
Yeah, Jackie's a new player to me as well. I've never seen him play. He looks to be pretty quick on the table. Sees it and shoots it. Oh, did I curse him? Man, that happens every time.
Commentators, curse comes back to haunt you, Mike. Yeah, with such a big country, and obviously it being an amateur sport, not a lot of players travel for all the little tournaments that throughout. Most of the time it's just playing in their regional tournaments or their club tournaments. So these national tournaments is when we really get to see the cream of the crop, or the ones that are wanting to make the journey. Obviously, Ali's had to cross the country, coming all the way from New York. We do have some players from Houston, which is great to see. Everyone, definitely all the players talking with them last night and around the players meeting, they just enjoy these conditions very much. These tables are in great condition, and the pockets are very tough. So you've done a good job here, Mike, providing great conditions for the players. Taking one thing off the list, they can't complain about the table.
Yeah, they were still hitting in some pretty big breaks last night, so we should see some fireworks this weekend. All right, so against Ali, you don't leave the ball down by the reds, because he will punish you for him.
Wow, what a shot there.
Yeah.
Great cue action there. Just got plumb on the blue, the right side of the blue to come back down for the reds.
So Ali's using the 10.5 Q-Tech carbon fiber shaft, and I've played with that shaft, and it gives you so much action. It's crazy. 10.5 millimeter tip is a bit large for snooker, but not too large. Also depends on how you shape the ball. I mean the tip. But he's been using it for some time. He saw him use it in the seniors over at Sheffield. So I think he made 2 firsts. Someone can correct me, but he was the first American, and I think he was the first person to bring in a carbon fiber shaft into Sheffield. I don't think they've had any pool tournaments there. Possibly? I don't know.
I don't think there's been any pool tournaments in the Crucible Theater, but there are, games here and there of pool, of black ball, I think they call it, because there's the one black ball and then there's 7 yellows and 7 red balls on the table. So a little different than the American game, but I think the philosophy is the same. However, I think you are correct there. Yeah, Ali was the first American to play at the Crucible, and with the carbon fiber shafts. Yeah, I've never seen that before. Usually they're the ash or the maple cues.
Yeah, that's why he wears a glove. Typically, with the carbon fiber shafts, you need a glove because it's the material just kind of rubs weird stuff off your hands, sweat, grime, and probably little bits of skin. I don't know, but there's these little things that happen on the carbon fiber shafts. So you either have to clean them very often or just put on a glove.
Yeah, not a bad double clutch. This is a tough black into the top right corner. Let's just roll it in if he wants to hold for the Reds. And Chuck Jones turning in all the way from Detroit. Good to hear from you, Chuck. Chuck was a avid watcher last weekend at the Women's U.S. Open.
How's the time difference on this feed, Chuck? It's probably pretty good. Nice early in the morning.
Yeah, early here on the West Coast, and Stephen Wong showing support for Jackie. That's always good. We like to hear the viewers, on the stream pump out your support for either player through the Ethernet. They'll be able to find it somehow.
Nice pot. Is he on something?
Yeah, we have Tom Collins Jr. coming from the Detroit area playing the tournament, and his father, the late, great Tom Collins, is the name of the trophy the winner will be hoisting on Monday evening. Smart play there by Jack. He didn't try to force the issue on anything. You see a lot of amateurs in the game try to, when they're on a run, they want to continue it going, but sometimes you got to stop that and realize that it's a low percentage shot to continue the break, and the better idea is just to run and hide and play safe. Leave your opponent with a tricky shot, as Ali has right now.
Yeah, honestly, I think Jackie escaped a pretty big break from Ali, because he did leave him in the reds, and if Ali didn't miss that red in the middle, he could have done some damage on that break. So he did get away. Jackie did, leaving the ball down in the top end of the table. And Jackie's taken full advantage of the chances that Ahmed is giving him.
Interesting how you can notice how Jackie kind of chalks his cue, chalks it like a pool player, but I think that's the majority of players you're going to see here do come from a pool background, and then somehow, some friend or something, they found out about this great game of snooker and given it a try, and next thing you know, they're hooked on the game.
It's a frustrating table right now because there are open shots. There just happens to be a red in the way of each of them. I mean, that red in the middle looks good if the red by the cue ball wasn't there. I don't know if he's playing safe. I don't know if he's looking at a combo or plant.
Yeah, just how it's set up, as you said, that there's just some reds blocking some pots, and if you were to take on maybe one that's open, but Jackie might have had to use the rest for those reds that were close by the black ball. And if he misses, he knows Ali's ability. So, and if you just give Ali just one chance, although he's slow to warm up this morning, but once the engine starts turning over, the Ali car will be driving full steam ahead.
Yeah, I think Jackie knows it's kind of hard to warm up if you're behind. The tension in the arm is real, especially in the first match, the all-important first match in a race to 2. Frame, I should say.
Yeah, as the old adage, they always say, you're never in the match until you win your first frame, and definitely in these best of threes, that's extremely important. Although, sometimes maybe losing that first frame is a good wake-up call. Definitely we're just past 9 o'clock on the West Coast. It might be their jolt of morning coffee, losing that frame. It's time to wake up and get on to the business.
So true, man. Ali, last year, I was in his New York Athletic Club, and he was making 70 breaks just off the fly. So I'm sure he's not too worried about it.
Yeah, we'll see how that works throughout the tournament. Some players are traveling near and far. Some are based out of here in Seattle, as we were alluding to last weekend at the U.S. Open, with the jet lag hinder our friends from Britain, but not at all.
I don't want to hear it.
They just have such a rich history over there that jet lag or no, they were able to focus on the muscle memory and just know what to do when you're down at the table.
Yeah, I think I told a couple of New Yorkers, I don't want to hear any jet lag comments. They said, why? It's because last weekend people were in from Germany and the UK and
Canada.
that's
that's a lot of jet lag there. So Jackie with a 30-6 advantage in this first frame, but still lots of points on the table. So
Oh, wow. Nice.
I don't think that plant was intended, but that might just be the shot that kickstarts Ali to realize, get going. That's great to hear, Chuck, that he has a snooker table just down the road from his place and saying everyone that he shows loves the game. And I'd have to agree. Last weekend when I was here in Seattle for the U.S. Open, just chatting with some just people as I was walking home after a day's work, people were aware of the game of snooker and really enjoyed it.
Hey, what's up, Jamie? What time is it over there, Jamie?
It's probably not too bad. Maybe getting around dinner time, I would think. Probably about 5 o'clock over in British time. But Jamie, thanks for those nice comments.
Yeah, it's good to have you here.
Definitely. I hope when you got back home, Jamie, you had a champion's welcome. You played just lights out that tournament, and definitely look forward to seeing you again. So Ali's slowly crawling back into this frame. Seems like Jamie still has jet lag, is killing her. So well, it's interesting how the jet lag can affect you. I do remember the story of when the pro circuit was over in Asia one time, I believe in China. They were playing a tournament, and Mark Selby, world champion 4 times, had woken up, did all his business, got ready for his match, put on his suit, went down, was getting ready to find a driver, and a fellow player was like, "What are you doing, Mark? It's 2 o'clock in the morning." So
I know he's slow, but he doesn't have to wake up that early to get ready.
True. It just goes back to, when you're tired, that muscle memory kicks in, and
yeah. Just kidding, Mark. I know he's listening right now. He's totally watching this.
well, if he is, we hope he's doing all right. He's been battling a few neck injuries. He is going to be Rebecca Kenna partner in the mixed doubles that I believe is going to be coming up at the end of September. So that should be an exciting event.
Yeah. I know she's looking forward to it. It's going to be really cool to watch. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think he's also teaming up with Gareth Potts in a black ball doubles. I'm not 100% on that. I've got my head down to the grindstone, but I think I saw something to that extent. Maybe if Mark's on the stream, he can enter the chat and let us know.
Well, that's what the chat is for, Yeah, you can let us know where you're tuning in from. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, you know that snooker is not very big in the States. It's still growing. But if you had any questions, so Mike, some other players are looking for the Ox sponsorship, We need to wave the big flag in the UK, OX in UK.
Yeah, we love the WWS players. Keep at it, Jamie. We'll talk soon. Wow, that was a nice little pot. Unless he's behind the green.
Yeah, I just don't know if he can get by that green to hit that red by the pink. But yeah, going back to the women's tour, I know the owner of Top 147 in Vancouver, or the Richmond area, Jonathan's son, was down watching the event last weekend, and he's getting quite excited and wanting to definitely get a Canadian Open happening there. So, Jamie, fingers are crossed. Hopefully, maybe a little tour could happen next year. Do a little Seattle-Vancouver jump.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Let's not jinx it yet, but the wheels are in motion, and we'll see what happens. Wow.
Oh my God.
I'm not sure where this Jackie has come from, but he is playing really well. He's delighted my eyes, that's for sure. But definitely one thing with, I think a lot of these matches that you'll see, just get to the colors. Just get a chance to be when you're into the colors. Because that's usually a lot of the time in the amateur game, that's where the matches are won and lost. There are some players definitely have the caliber of running a century or so, but it's not as frequent as the pro circuit, as they just are the best of the best over on the pro circuit. And being an amateur event, some can paddle into the unknown and put up a high break, but usually that's not the case.
Jamie in the chat is saying hopefully next year she'll return with an Ox logo tattoo. So Travis, who works here with me, had the idea of getting an Ox logo. So we waited about a month to make sure that idea was still in his head, and so we did it. I got mine on my right wrist. I think we both did on the right wrist. Yeah, it's a great little design by my buddy.
True, I don't know if I can do it. My body's fresh, clean of ink.
Is it really?
German Woo, thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the great snooker action here at the U.S. National Snooker Championship, live at Ox Billiards in the Emerald City of Seattle, Washington. That blue just held out. Kind of maybe decent shot to nothing here. This red into the top left corner pocket and maybe just sneak behind the yellow. Or maybe Ellie's just going to just sneak behind the yellow and not worry about the red. Yes. Thanks, John, for the kind words. It is nice to see snooker in America, that's for sure. And in this event, in the round robins with their best of threes, we are playing. There's 3 attempts on foul and misses, and we do not have a roving referee, so basically it's up to the players, which goes back to the etiquette of the game. Both of them will definitely take a look and concur and hopefully come up to the correct position of the cue ball. I know sometimes in the tournaments that I put on in Canada, we put a coin down by where the cue ball is, and then the player can hit from there. But then it is the player's responsibility to pick up that coin if a ball is going to come close to it. So it just helps out that guessing game of it. But as long as both players agree where the cue ball is, play on, and this is the second attempt for Jackie. So it's getting a little costly. That's been 8 points so far in penalty points. Rally. The rule obviously is on that third attempt. It has to be a worthwhile attempt. Can't just, roll up to something. It has to be warranted that they are trying to hit their object ball, in this case a red. Oh, nice long pot there by Ali. All about momentum sometimes in these frames and matches. So Jackie could feel a little deflated there, giving up 12 points, and Ali looking to capitalize here. That's a nice shot on that blue. Good position on the red. Sam Lee, we have 4 tables on the go. If you do go to actually cloudsnooker.com, there is live scoring on all the tables there, as I can just see that Charles Crouch has a 61 lead over Amit Karki. So, and Raymond Fung is up 24-13, and Dave Daly, who's done a lot of great work over here at Ox Billiards, is trailing Dharma Hermeni 48-24. And those are all in the first frames. So cloudsnooker.com is where you can get all your results, track your favorite player. Yes, actually, Sam Lee is not a bad player up there in the Vancouver area, but I have to say he's a great stand-up comedian. Hopefully, maybe we could get him come down here and do a set or so. But if you want to laugh, check out Sam Tonning. Great humor.
Snooker humor? Any snooker jokes in there, Samuel?
Well, there's usually only one blue on the table, so that's as far as I'm going to go. So 41-41, like I said, it's now down to the colors. They're all kind of... Well, they are in tough positions, but that's a nice yellow to get onto that green. It's going to need to get the blue to get to the snooker's required stage here for Ali.
A great shot on the cushion right there.
Yeah, struck it with real good confidence. Those are always tricky. Sometimes you'll see a lot of players just kind of roll it in, but Ali just fired it in there. So maybe the car is starting to warm up, as we talked about earlier in this frame.
I like how he held it on this side of the pink rather than coming down the table and getting a weird angle on the 5 or the blue on the blue ball. Oh,
Oh, he might have second place here. Ooh.
Does he see the angle? Could probably hit it for sure.
Yeah, it's just paper thin, but it's a little nervy. It's obviously tough from our vantage point, but the player down on the table will have the best angle.
You don't want to hit this too hard. Leave the ball up the table. Try not to separate the blue from the pink too much. But it's hard to do. Easy to say. Oh, he potted it.
Very
I guess
nice.
the angle was there.
Yeah, I just looking actually at the table as our vantage point. We can see the table. I thought it might just be a bit too thin, but Jackie has
What a shot.
done the business always. Proved commentators wrong from time to time. A little exciting frame for our first one on the TV table at this 2022 U.S. National Championship.
Yeah.
Looks like it could be going down to the black ball. Just a little somebody jostling around in Ali's point of view.
Yeah, John says, I didn't think it would go either. Yeah, these cameras can be deceiving.
And these players have nerves of steel.
He's far off on that one. Sometimes if there's movement in the crowd and it's not that big of a deal, it's better to just get down on your shot and take it.
Yeah,
Rather than getting thrown off and resetting everything. I'm getting a call from Geico.
Yes, cardinal rule of snooker tournaments. Remember, put your cell phones on vibrate. Michael.
I'm not in the audience. All right, it's on. All right. Final black.
Yeah, Chuck, we'll just see how this frame plays out. Maybe in frame 2, as they're getting started, we'll quiz Mike a little bit on your question. So stand by for that. Let's just see who can take this first frame, because this is a little nervy, definitely. As we were saying, getting that first frame is so important when it comes down to a black ball.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotions in this. If you lose that first frame, it's going to try really hard not to let it affect the next frame. Oh, that looks like it's going to bounce. I like Jackie in this shot. No curse.
Well done, Jackie. Good black ball right there. So that's going to sting a little bit for Ali there as he drops the first frame. Defending champion up against it. But these great players always, when their back is against the wall, they dig in deep and look to find something. So we'll stand by, and frame 2 will be coming up very shortly. and Jackie breaking off here for frame 2. These are best of 3 matches. So Jackie's in the driver's seat right now, but it is early. So yeah, just while they're kind of getting started, Chuck had asked a question, Mike. How did you get into the game of snooker?
As most people on this continent, I started out playing pool, quite a bit of it, lots of pool, playing in bar tournaments. Always wanted to be on a league, but it was a lot of barriers getting in on the league. You had to like time it just perfectly and talk to just the right person. But I also watched a lot of pool videos, Bustamante, Efren Reyes, and the like, just the way they move the ball around the table. And then YouTube kept suggesting that I watch this weird game called Snooker and this strange player called Ronnie O'Sullivan. And I was not going to buy it. I was like, whatever. This was around 2016-ish, 2015. YouTube kept suggesting it over and over, and finally I clicked it, and it was his fastest 147. I had no idea what the heck was going on. Had never heard of snooker. I was amazed by his cue ball control. I watched it probably about an hour straight, about 10 times in a row. And next day, sought out a snooker table, ordered a snooker cue, and the rest was history. I got bit hard, and then I started watching old matches on YouTube. Started watching back in the day. YouTube used to stream live matches, and I would watch them as well. Got to know the players, read some books, gravitated towards one player or another. And at the time, I was working on my Master's of Public Health at University of Washington, and so I could play pool and listen to lectures and study and still make balls. But I tried that with snooker, and it was just too heady of a game. I mean, you had to put your entire focus into each shot, or you were going to miss. So, just played snooker from then on. And there was got to know CCU. He took me to Canada to play in Snooker Canada's divisional tournaments. Introduced me to David Burney, Charlie Brown, all the good players up there. Jonathan Sun and I were talking quite a bit. And at the time, I owned a dental lab, and for several reasons, I got out of that industry and got into snooker. And I wish I found it 30 years ago.
As we all do, yes. If we knew what we knew now when we were younger. Jackie. Looking like an opening to a profitable visit, but just black rings in the cushion, or in the jaws of that pocket. Yes, be careful, Mike. Sometimes when you say continent, our good friend Sam up in Canada has told us that yes, there is a rich history of snooker in Canada. Not as much of late. It's kind of dropped off a little bit. We're not sure why, what happened there, but obviously 1980 world snooker champion Cliff Thorburn, Canadian. And yeah, great players like Kirk Stevens, Big Bill Werbenick, Brady Golan, Jim Veitch, Alain Robidou. These are all guys that went over, played on the Pro Tour, Tom Finstead, so.
Oh, how did that get... Oh, I was about to say, how did it get back up to the bulk? Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah, it's interesting that the snooker didn't really take off in more of the northern states. Obviously, like when winter comes along, obviously, definitely here in Seattle, it's very overcast and gray and not inspiring to be outside. So what are you going to do inside? Surprising they just didn't jump to this, or if you're in Minnesota, it gets quite cool in
Yeah,
winter.
well, we had the movie The Hustler, and then it was followed up by that one movie, Color of Money, probably a couple of other pool movies I'm not talking about now. As an American, we love our movies. So had there been a snooker movie that grabbed America's attention, who knows?
Yeah, you wonder, like the great recent movie, The Rack Pack, that
Yeah.
was just produced over in Britain, chronicling the trials and tribulations of Steve Davis and Alex Higgins. If that had come out a long time ago, you wonder how that would have done for the American audience. But pretty much any, I know the Brits and the Irish and the Scots over there, they do enjoy The Hustler as much as it's a pool-based game. They still enjoy it because it's a cue sport there nonetheless.
Yeah, it's definitely more than a pool story. It's a kind of brutal slice of life story. Two lost souls.
Yeah, John, if you check out cloudsnooker.com, you'll be able to see up-to-date results, the list of all the players, the group structure. So check over there at cloudsnooker.com for all the results on this U.S. National Snooker Championship.
Jackie has to dig his way to that black ball.
Definitely check. I've heard that is in the works, and I think it's going to be released soon on Netflix. Documentary on Ronnie O'Sullivan documenting his 2022 World Championship run. Sorry, spoiler alert, but I'm pretty sure most snooker fans do know that he tied Stephen Hendry's record of 7 World Championships, which I think, as much as I'm a Stephen Hendry fan, that really stamps the book that Ronnie is probably just the best player we've ever seen so far. Because you never know what's coming down the pipe.
So far, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fly Away says, fighting Jackie. Indeed.
As they probably said in the 70s, they're like, there's no one going to be better than Ray Reardon. But then Steve Davis comes along. And then people are like, Steve Davis is a cut above the rest. No one is going to be like him. Stephen Hendry comes along, so...
Oh. Okay. Safe.
And these tables are level. I know it looks a little odd because all those reds are on the right side of the table, but believe me, Mike had the great Simon Barker in here to tune up the tables before this championship and the Women's U.S. Open Championship of last week.
Wow.
That was dangerous.
They're just flirting with that black ball.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a nice cue ball. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Netflix coverage of Ronnie, partly because he was wearing a mic on the floor, from what I understand. So I want to see that footage. It seemed like he was talking to himself when he was sitting while Judd was shooting, and so it'd be interesting. It's kind of like behind the scenes coverage, sideline mic in football, American football.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I didn't notice that. That'd be great exposure there because all athletes, they have a little talking with themselves, a little pep talk. Sometimes you'll see, definitely in this game, if a frame concludes and a player wasn't on the victorious side, they'll excuse themselves for a comfort break and give themselves a little pep talk.
Not 100% on that mic. It was just the rumor going around Sheffield.
The Sheffield rumors.
Yes, there are many.
I think Ali was probably just. I think he's been a little bit surprised here by Jackie. I'm not sure where Jackie comes from. Obviously, here in America.
Whoa.
Nice shot there by Ali. That's full of confidence. But, with being such a large country, you might not know certain opponents that you're playing. Obviously, a lot of these players will know Ali as defending champion, first American to play at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield. So he's definitely got the mark on his back.
Oh, no. File 7.
Yeah, it was a thin, paper thin, even less than paper thin. If you can get thinner than that of a cut for the black, so. These two are in Group A, and there's 5 players in their group. In the top 2 of each group, we have 8 groups here, so the top 2 will move on to the knockout round for a best of 16, and when we're in that stage, the matches will be best of 5s, followed by quarterfinals and semifinals that are best of 7s, and then the final on Monday night will be a best of 9 to crown the United States National Snooker Champion.
Slow down.
Sometimes they call it the dreaded double kiss, and at first glance it looked like it all was all right because these reds along the top cushion are a bit precarious, but this red just below the pink, the second red below the pink, is on for the middle pocket. Yeah, to give it some pace to get onto the black, and because those 2 reds, 3 reds there to the right of the pink was hindering the pink to go into the right middle pocket, so I need to draw it back. Ali needed to be on the black. Let's see if Jackie can capitalize on Ali's mistake. I think this definitely will be an upset if Jackie's able to take this match.
We think. Like, honestly, this guy's shooting really well. He could be. We're gonna have to talk to him. We're gonna have to maybe bring him in the booth and just ask him if he's, how long he's been playing, what other tournaments he's played in, where his home club is.
Yeah, it could be, I guess, way back like 2005 when no one heard of this Sean Murphy character, who he was ranked, I think, maybe 60th. I might be just quoting wrong, but he wasn't in the top 16 at the time. Had to qualify to get into the World Championship and ran away and won it back in 2005. So maybe we're seeing another Sean Murphy type player coming out of nowhere to hoist the crown.
That would be cool. I like his decision making. Not that my approval means anything, but it is fun to watch. Watch him play because he takes a really hard look at whether or not to go for a shot or play safe, and up to now, he's been making all the right decisions. Won the first frame, leading in this one. Although this looks to be a pretty big break for Ali.
And you don't need to adjust your set. You might hear a little bit of a doorbell, but our booth is right by the entranceway to Ox. Mike likes to run a private club here, so players and members need to be buzzed in. So every so often you might just hear a little ding-dong of the doorbell. But don't worry, that's all natural. You're not hearing things.
It's not your pizza. Don't go get your door. Great pace there. He's really developed a feel for that cue. It is a transition that needs to be made between wood and carbon fiber. It helps when you're a good cueist, as Ali is.
You know, it's nice as well. Here he's got options. Chuck, I'm not too sure. I'll have to talk to Ahmed about that. If he's pursuing to get a tour card. Pretty sure that would be... we'd love that idea. He did participate in the seniors, but I believe the seniors event, the World Championship, you have to be the age of 40 or over.
Yeah.
So
Just lowering the bar for seniors. Ronnie could win a World's Championship and then just play the next week in the seniors.
thanks for that useful information, Vern. That Ali had won the PAPS event and got a 2-year exemption. So that's the benefit of the chat that we had. Lots of great snooker enthusiasts out there have a wealth of information.
No.
Jackie Way scored 15 points. 20.
Sometimes you just get ahead of yourself. You take your concentration off that red that needs to go in. I think he was thinking of that black ball, but you got to put all the focus into the shot at hand.
Where's he going with that cue ball? I thought he had the angle to just roll a little forward for the top red on the right. Now this is a strange angle. Maybe he's trying to break up those two. I don't know.
Nice
He
cut.
He missed him.
Now, obviously, if that red's not in bulk, he's rolling up to the brown, but with the red there, he's got to go for the pot. Does it beautifully.
Yeah, he's got to think about his safety here.
Yeah, I can just get nicely behind the black here and put Ali in a bunch of trouble. Looks the heavens a little bit. It's all right. Could have been a bit better.
Ahmed Ali El Zahmiyad scored 20 points. 13.
That was a good answer to Ali's break.
And so far, Ali has the highest break in the match, 20. A little low by Ali's standards, but that first match is always tough, especially maybe early in the morning as well. The room was buzzing last night with lots of players coming in, practicing. meeting some old friends, meeting new ones. So, not sure when everybody retired. I don't know when you closed down last night, Mike.
Midnight. Yeah. So someone in the chat is asking not asking, but made a statement. The hard part is table availability in the U.S., and that's certainly true. So for those of you thinking about opening a club or wanting to put a table in your area, Ox does distribute the Rasson Magnum 2s, so give us an email. We could talk about populating this country with some quality snooker tables.
Yeah, the big thing is you need a lot of real estate to put these tables in. That could be the tricky part sometimes, but there's a lot of space in North America.
Yeah.
America, Canada, there's lots of space out there, but in definitely the urban cores, real estate is becoming quite valuable. You coming from Vancouver know that just the rent is astonishingly high, so it's tough to sometimes justify putting in one of these tables. But I think as more and more people tune into the streams that we do, more people are inspired to pick up a cue and get hooked on this great game. Because it's forever challenging, that's for sure. You're not really in the same situation twice.
That was a good cue ball by Jackie.
True, we gotta teach these American snooker players sometimes, hey, that chalk belongs in your pocket, not on the table. I think Jackie's left the chalk there. But it's all a learning process. Yeah, we're all learning together. Or maybe that was Ali's chalk. That was Jackie's, actually. 'Cause I thought Ali uses the Finnish chalk tome, so...
Well, I'm glad neither one of these players are in my group. Looks like Dave Daly is up in the second frame, 28 to 25. He may have taken the first frame. Is that what that says right there?
It does look like it. He was
Yeah,
trailing
nice.
by about 24 points, I believe, when we first checked in. So
Good job,
good on
Dave.
Dave to come back.
Dave can shoot as well. He knows these tables. Looks like Raymond is ahead by one frame. Doesn't look like the second frame started. He's playing Ahmad Nawabi, Charles Crouch, Amit Karki. Looks like Charles took that one. I'm impressed with his cue ball control, Jackie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dave Daly, who makes his residence here in Seattle, but originally from Ireland. Ireland has a rich history of great snooker players, so I think talking with him, he played as a young boy and then kind of took a 20-year gap, actually, and then kind of refound it out and refound the love for it. As it seems like during that pandemic, a lot of people have. Our friend Mary Talbot, who played in the women's event, I was trying with her, and she was quite a presence on the women's scene about 20 years ago, and then took a break. Just life gets in the way sometimes, and then she found during the pandemic she picked up her cue again, and
Wow. Cue ball control.
maybe a little luck on the table as well. Jackie might be getting a few of those extra rolls. But it all balances out. Rarely seen a match really where all the flukes and all the rolls are going one side to one player. So Ali's just got to hang in. At some point he'll get the rolls going his way. It's okay. Mind it just to mean a little bit softer, just to nestle ever so closely, but that's a tricky shot to play for Ali. Getting on that red, so he's left a Jackie with a red to the middle bag.
I like his first instinct. I think he was first looking at the red to the right of the pink. But that yellow might just be too much for him to bridge over. Now he's left the middle.
Yeah. It's a cruel game. Cruel. Sometimes when you're just struggling and you just can't find it there, it's just, there's nothing worse. You just want to crawl and hide.
And to be fair, it's easy for the commentators. Oh, just watching casually. They're in the middle of it. Hearts are racing.
Yeah, a lot of buzz, obviously. The first match of the day, the first match of the tournament. The adrenaline is really kicking in. You're happy to be here. You want to show well. Sometimes you just got to settle those nerves, bring it all down to a comfort level. Play your game, don't play your opponent's game. This is a great opportunity just to roll up behind the brown here and get back some penalty points.
It's a nice shot. He still has the touch with that carbon fiber. Definitely been working with that. We have had a few pool players come in here that have purchased the QTech 10.5, and they do switch over from pool to snooker without having to buy a snooker cue. They just buy this shaft with the proper joint. They just screw it into their butt. Looks like he's going back.
He had the line there, that's for sure. So just a little bit adjustment on pace. And I could see Jackie making contact on his red here. Yes, well done. If you are in the Seattle area, feel free to come down and see us at Ox. Admission is free. The drinks are cool, so a great time to enjoy down here. Some great snooker action. The United States National Championship.
And normally we open at 3 p.m., but when we have tournaments like this, we always welcome spectators. It's much different to watch them play in person.
Yeah, it may seem like they're hitting the ball really hard on your screens, but sometimes when you come into the room, they're hitting it very softly. It seems like the camera adds like 5 miles per hour, I guess, to each shot or something like that.
Miles.
Yeah, is that when you
And
do
Miles
that?
in Canada? Oh, what a pot.
Nice double there, yeah. just roll up. Yes, Sam, that is correct. We noticed the pace of the shots were very soft at the World Championships snooker over there in Sheffield.
6,
So 17 in it and 35 on the table. Tricky part here is with that last red on, there's a potential of a free ball situation. So that is obviously Jackie's at the table, and the result of his shot, if he misses his object ball and leaves Ali in a snooker, that would result into a free ball where they can nominate any ball of their choice to be the red ball. The only thing is they cannot roll up or use that ball to lay a snooker. And he's going to put him back. Okay.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, he is close to the back. Interesting that he did put him back. Hopefully, he's made the wise decision here. A good hit there, getting an applause. The unfortunate part is he has left the red on, so Ali was hoping for a few more penalty points to be into his pocketbook. That blue's tight to the bulk cushion there, so that just looks like the real kind of trouble ball here. I don't think he has an angle on the red to break it out, but he might draw back for the blue. Oh, just stunning down for green.
This looks eerily similar to the first frame. Ali took a late comeback, tied it up before they got to the colors. And then kind of, I think he missed the yellow or missed the green. This last frame was so long ago, I don't remember. And then Jackie just kind of cleared up. But we'll see what happens here on this yellow. Couple of safeties probably coming up.
Very nice shot. Got the snooker there. Yeah, had a nice area with that green and brown close together. There is no gap there, unfortunately, to go through them, so looks like Jackie's going to try one cushion escape here. Gotta be careful not to cannon into those high value balls. Okay, just missed the black. Who's helping out doing scorekeeping and commentary. It's kind of come up with an ingenious little plan over here in the broadcast booth. He puts the cursor on our monitor there so we can get a good respot. So it's just kind of from our booth directing the players where the cue ball is going to go. And attempt number 2 here for Jackie. Yeah, unfortunately we don't have the technology yet of having that overlay as you might see on the pro circuit. Sometimes they have a screenshot of before the shot was taken, and they can overlay, and between the referee and the marker they can come to an agreement of where the ball is, but then obviously check with both players to assume all is right, because every little millimeter counts on the table. So this is his third attempt here. Has to be worthwhile to get on the yellow. He will not be going back here. Third time's a charm, and that's not a bad retort there. Jackie kind of kicking himself. Why didn't he do that the first time? Just came into that green ball just a bit much. But that blue is going to be very important. Ooh, Jackie. You know, I've been quite impressed by Jackie's game, but I think just maybe the one little thing is getting out of snookers might be his little kryptonite. Not too bad. That held up just enough. He couldn't cut it into the middle. Yeah, that was a little bit longer of a pot, so it had some trickiness to it. This has opened up an opportunity for Ali, that's for sure. He's just not finding the gears right now. Just sometimes he gets this car going, it gets into first gear, but he just can't find the other gears to get going.
Yeah, it's getting scrappy.
As we've said many times, it always comes down to those colored balls. Is green going to come to his rescue? I think it has. Yeah, from my vantage point, sometimes maybe, you could swerve it around, but being up against the cushion, that's tough. Looks like Jackie's going to try and swerve. Was able to make contact but not pocket it. Arch, I'm not sure who's playing in the next match. It's kind of like a rollover philosophy. So, players are encouraged to come in when it's close to their match time. And when a table becomes available, that's where they go on. So just with the round robin, that's what we've got staged right now. Obviously, with the knockout round, we might have a bit more structure, but just in the good nature of keeping the tournament alive and going and running smoothly, whoever is available will get on the TV table. Hopefully, it's someone that you support.
I'm literally standing right here doing about 3 different things, but did you mention Cloud Snooker? That's where all the groups are and the schedules are.
True, yeah. You'll see some times there, but
no.
Yeah, see, that's the kryptonite. He can put him back, but it's also a free ball situation, and now he's electing to put him back. Yes, I've mentioned the Cloud Snooker is your resource all weekend long for up-to-date scoring, standings in the group, and all results.
Oh, that's a shame. But I think that's why you put him back. You got the object ball right next to the black ball.
Let's see how the players act as referees here. It's going to take a little bit of respotting magic here. But it helps that the cue ball obviously is close to the blue. And that's the great thing about the game, the etiquette. Both players will agree on placement. I've yet to see a real large disagreement on respotting. So, and we do have some great spectators in here. Actually, players probably just coming on to look, and I think a player.
Very neat. He had a freeze frame on the live stream. That was Joe helping out, one of the players here.
See now, that's all the attempts now for Jackie. The unfortunate part is a free ball, because Ali cannot hit both sides of that yellow ball. So the tables they have turned here. But this brown, oh no, he's going to play with blue. I don't think he's going to go for the pot. Well played there. So on a free ball situation, you just can't snooker your opponent on that free ball unless just the pink and black are remaining. True, it is interesting, Dom. You make a good point that the foul and miss rule can get abused as your opponent misses and the result of the shot is you're perfectly plumb on the ball, but there's potential to make some more points. So sometimes I feel like if you lay a really good snooker on your opponent, you deserve to be getting a fair amount of points.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I think in snooker clubs and pubs, shall we say, there's always a good long debate about the foul and miss rule. Everyone has their opinion on it in this game.
After all those snookered fouls, Jackie is losing the cue ball a little bit.
Didn't want that kiss on the green with the yellow. Would have had a great snooker there if that didn't happen. Just barely missed the double kiss on the yellow, but I think there's a angle. I wonder if he's gonna. I guess he was snookered there, but
Jackie got down a little quick on this. It would have been nice for him to take a breather before this shot. And he stood up early. A little bit of stress going on, trying to get out of those snookers.
the emotion too. He was leading this frame. He was close to closing out victory on the defending champion. How that's going to boost up your confidence, that's for sure. So he might be just need to take a deep breath, recompose. Playing a great match so far.
I like Ali's approach here. He's found, as you said, a weak spot.
And he's exploiting
He
it.
is totally going after that. There's a few shots in there that I thought he would have taken on, but he opted to try to snooker Jackie. Having trouble bridging on that pocket.
And I think going back to the Falmouth, and that's why we compromise it a little bit by only having the 3 attempts and the 2 putbacks, because you have your opponent that lays a great snooker, gets rewarded for 12 points. That's, I think, a fair thing. The game is called snooker. It's not called pot balls. Yet on the other hand, if you're playing an opponent and they just fluked a snooker, just somehow got in it, you're only going to lose
Call
the 12
those
points.
flukers, by the way.
True. How is Christian coming along with that term? Has he got in touch with Oxford or WPBSA yet?
It's on our website, so that means it's final. It's official.
Is that the bravado of the Americans coming through?
Yeah, absolutely. When I say North American continent, I mean America.
True. Don't forget about Canada.
Yeah, it must get annoying being U.S.-centric. But we're doing better. We're showing empathy for the world, I guess. At least in this room. Oh, is it gonna land in the pocket? Right. So this will tell us the shot here. If Ali is just gonna try to close out the frame here.
Yeah, I think we are going to decider in this first match of the United States National Snooker Championship. Round robin, best of 3s. That's in the group stage.
That was a nice cue ball. He's setting himself up for the next shot with these natural angles.
And this is his frame ball right here. This brown goes in. So snookers will be required for Jackie. Commentator's curse comes back again.
Yeah, I'm not sure he wanted to stun that. Cue ball didn't move at all. I don't know if there's a kick. But that shot looked very strange.
41,
What are you playing here, Mike? Are you just glancing off the right side of the brown? Hopefully it just goes off the cushion and you get your cue ball behind the blue.
I like the kick here, trying to kick the brown out and leave the cue ball by the blue ball.
Oh, going cushion first?
Yeah,
you're saying?
cushion first. They do that in pool quite a bit. That's one of the safety shots I did pick up in pool. Kick safe.
It is quite an inventive shot. It's
You don't see it much. You don't see it much in snooker unless it's a long 12-foot shot.
that's a nice brown. And he's going to... Ooh, he might be a bit angle hooked here, actually. I think he is. But actually, yeah, a Vancouver player by the name of Reed Unger, he uses a lot of those bank first kick shots, I guess you will call in a pool world. But yeah, he's the first guy that I really noticed used them a lot more often. So put that into my quill of tricks.
Yeah. I like Reed. I think he was one of the first players that played up there. Gave me some pointers. He said, stick to pool. That was a great hit.
True. It's unfortunate after that great brown that he was angled hooked, but 23 in and an 18 on the table. So Jackie just needs one snooker to tie and clean up.
The long pot is starting to warm up, says Vern in the chat. Agreed, it was only a matter of time before Ali kicked it into another gear, but like honestly, it's been his safety play in both frames. Got him close in the first frame, and it looks like from this vantage point that he's going to win this frame because of his safety play.
And I think that's going to be a great teaching aid for Jackie. Win or lose this match, Jackie, who came on strong at the beginning, he'll start to see that, the game is not just all about pots. You have to have a good safety game. You got to be able to get out of snookers. So they do say you learn a lot when you lose in this game.
Yes.
And both players are reaching for balls in the pockets too, and Jackie concedes that second frame, so we are headed to a decider in this first round, first match of our U.S. National Snooker Championship here in Seattle, Washington, live from Ox Billiards. Just looking around the room, it looks like that we have Charles Crouch is up 1-0. And Raymond Fung is up 1-0 and leading the second frame 58-15. So he's looking strong. Dave Daly, unfortunately, I don't know why I call him Daly. It just seems like a surrealist to me. But Dave Daly lost that second frame, so they're in the decider. But Dave is up 30-19. Check out cloudsnooker.com for all the live scoring. As you can see, there's a beautiful shot of the setup here at Ox Billiards, and we're just getting started. We're going to be here all weekend long. If you're in the Seattle area, come down and check out the action. Admission is free, but we're glad that you're tuning in on the stream, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or twitch.tv. Search out Ox Billiards, and if you have any comments or questions, let us know where you're tuning in from as well. We're all here to talk about this great sport of snooker, and frame 3 will be coming up very shortly.
Mike here. David Burney is taking a little comfort break. Jackie coming out with a solid red, leaving himself a nice blue. That's unlucky, but not sure he had much there anyway. But it's always good to put some points on the board. Great weight on this shot here. So if you're in the Seattle area, come on down to Ox. We have plenty of seating. There's quite a few people here. You can mingle with the players, watch live snooker. Live championship snooker, I should say. Another nice cue ball here by Ahmed. Not too many options here for Jackie. Did he get away with that? Should be easy enough for Ali. Welcome back, David.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, Chuck. It's a little too early for the bar for me, personally, but comfort is very important in this game and also in commentary, so I just had to excuse myself and glad to be back.
The Burr family on the chat says they're rooting for Ali. And it's the first time ever watching snooker. Hey, congrats.
Glad you're tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the action.
It's pretty cool.
David Burney is in the booth here with you, and joined by Mike Dominguez, who's the owner-operator, and that's really pushing this game of snooker in the US of A, that's for sure. He's doing all the right things.
It's a great sport. It really is. The etiquette, the professionalism, the difficulty. Lots of mic cord noise. Thanks for that. We'll try to control that as best we can.
Sure, my mic might have been a bit hot, actually, as they say. That's industry talk for it's still live. And when I picked it up, coming back from my comfort break, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Thanks, Sam, for that note. Much appreciated. Let us know if it's not sounding right or if the visuals are a little off.
That was a gutsy shot there. You got to play those just right because of the rounded pockets. Yeah, any sort of feedback you guys have, sound volume, weird noises. The doorbell we can't do much about.
But I had to give it to Mike. You know, you're always improving, Mike. You're always trying to just hone things better. I think you were talking about a little bunker somewhere for the commentating booth in the ceiling eventually. So that might get rid of the little ding-dongs.
Yeah, we're only at the beginning stages. We have a great product here, but it is improving, and we do have plans. And working with Signal Architecture and Research, we have a roadmap.
Well, not knocking it at all or anything, because we all are learning by experience. But back in 2016, when I did my first Richler Cup with Snooker Canada out in Montreal, I could not see the table live. We had a monitor that we're watching, and we didn't have the scoreboard system like we set up now. So I'm getting post-it notes of the score intermittently. And as well, my co-commentator was a French-Canadian gentleman named Guy Simard, great streaming producer, but he didn't speak any English, and my French is petit terrible. So it's always interesting. That's very kind, John. Thank you. Looks as good as Eurosport.
Hey, just give us access to snooker and we'll put it on. Thanks for the compliment. We have a ways to go to be Eurosport, but I think that we have the know-how with Christian powering our streaming, and definitely have the desire. And so just keep, or should I say stay tuned, because we're always improving.
I think more and more as I see, Chuck was wanting to help out. Chuck, we'd love your help behind the scenes. I'm not sure exactly where you're tuning in from. Obviously, Seattle might be far from home for you. But once, the game keeps growing and we get great people behind the scenes, so I'm doing some commentary here. Mike is helping me out commentate, but he's also updating the score and sometimes changing the camera angles and stuff. So hopefully someday we can get a good production team behind the scenes. But for right now, we're learning as we're going, and we're glad that all of you are enjoying it.
Yeah, we can definitely use the help. At the moment, I'm the table mechanic, ref, player, scorekeeper, color commentator, server. So volunteers are welcome and appreciated.
Well, hopefully you can stand down as a table mechanic, because these tables look great, but you never know. If anyone wants to see just a great story of table mechanics, Simon Barker, he has a clip up on his website that at one point at I believe a seniors tournament over in the UK, there was the cue ball was running back into bulk, and then all of a sudden it just skewed a little bit.
Yeah.
And so they hollered for Mr. Barker to come in. He removed the rail, made a slight incision in the cloth,
Surgery.
pulled out this strand of fabric that caused that, and then stitched up like a surgeon the cloth and put the rail back on, and game on. So
I think that's a Weird Al Yankovic song, like a surgeon.
I believe you are correct. Good reference.
That's Simon, the table surgeon. I'm just a mechanic. He's a doctor.
Thanks again, Sam. Yeah, he's saying it's looking and sounding professional. Better some of pool streams, and yes, that is important. Sometimes some people don't realize it's great that we have these streams up and people are able to see the great game of snooker and other cue sports. But the problem is sometimes in these rooms that if you don't have a good connection with the room owner and try and ask them to turn down the music to a dull roar, shall we say, or just even turn it off, because if that music bleeds into the stream, it's a copyright infringement. I won't get into all the legalities of it, but it's not a good thing, and that can force the stream to shut down, and then unfortunately we don't see any of these great cue sports. So once again, Jackie's come out strong, taking a lead in this deciding frame. That's a nice cue ball by Ali. Put Jackie tight to that bulk cushion. It's tight to the cushion. You gotta be completely accurate there because you're kind of shooting down a little bit on the ball. And your cue can sometimes sway to one side or the other, just putting some unwanted siding. So it's always a tricky shot coming off the cushion.
Yeah, one thing we need is that bulk camera zoom when the white ball is rolling right up to that bulk cushion.
That's a nice shot by Ali. And the United States Snooker Association is tuning in. Thank you for your kind words on the excellent quality. And is enjoying the championship. Gives thanks to both Mike, you and I. So
Yeah.
thank you, USSA.
David Burney is a legend around here in the booth. It'd be great to hear him on a WST broadcast. I think that'd be kind of cool. Bring a North American flair to the Eurosport.
You are humbling me, Mike, but hey, if you guys want to start a campaign, I will not say no. I'm a very polite Canadian boy.
Jackie Way scored 23 points. 4.
Woogie Man 007. Good to hear you're tuning in from England, and he makes that point about that copyright music. So for all you,
And no one's making a dime here. I mean, I get it. It's a work of art. It's owned by a record company, and they want to get as much money for their investment as they can. But no one's paying to see this stream. But I mean, there's probably other legalities involved that I don't understand. So we just don't have it. I could do without it. That was a great safety to find that pathway between the red and the pink ball.
mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all amateurs here, and amateurs by definition do it for the love, where professionals get paid. So I will always consider myself an amateur commentator because I just enjoy sitting in the room, watching a match, and just letting you all know how the game progresses, and bringing in all the new fans. I think we're getting new fans day in and day out, and if they have any questions, we'll do our best to answer them, because there are some funny rules in the game of snooker that sometimes need explanation. It's not all black and white.
Or black and red. Let's see if Ali can do something with this. Maybe get a match-winning break. No curse intended.
Yeah, the reds are really nice spread out. Colored balls are not really in any trouble, so Wayne, I totally agree. I think getting some of the top-notch players over here. We had Ricky Walden, 18th ranked player in the world, come over in the late spring. He was over here at Ox in Seattle, as well at Top 147 in Richmond, British Columbia, Canada. And the response was just phenomenal. A lot of people just really enjoyed just seeing an actual professional player. So getting an actual sanctioned ranked tournament over here would be phenomenal, just to expose it, because then people are seeing what's going on. As I've always said, most people I tell I'm going to commentate on a snooker event, they think that's a dirty party trick or something like that. But once you see this great game, you just get enthralled by it. And I was fortunate enough to actually sit in on Steve Dawson's press conference, who is the head of the World Snooker over there in the UK. He took over for Barry Hearn. And they are aware, as the DAZN sports streaming service that we have here in North America, that is where we can get us Canadians and Americans watching professional snooker. And they are aware that the numbers are high, and it just takes time. As Jason Ferguson was mentioning to me that they had their eye on Turkey, and it took them about 2-3 years to finally get the tournament there. So it's baby steps. I think they're starting to see as all these great people are tuning into our streams. They are aware that Americans and Canadians have a bit more of a richer history because we have a long list of great players. But when you see Bob Chaperone and Ali Al-Assaid, playing in the World Seniors World Championship in Sheffield, it lets know the governing body over in the UK that across the Atlantic, they are interested in this great game of snooker. So baby steps. We'll hopefully get there soon enough.
Getting a little close to his work. Luckily, there's another red.
Yeah, this is the tough part of the game. I think it's sport I should say. It's the only sport where you've got a front row seat of your opponent doing damage to you, just winning away. And you can't do anything about it but just sit and stew in your chair.
Well, one way to not get snookered is to pot like he's potting. Just stay at the table and your opponent can't snooker you.
Yeah, Jackie is a great potter, but as we've seen, if Ali gets a chance, I know he's going to try and tie up Jackie as best as possible. Uh-oh.
It's a big shot right here. There's an obvious safety on that red above the yellow. Not sure I would have taken that shot.
Yeah, 51 in it, and there's 43 on the table. So Ali is needing a couple of snookers to get him back in this frame. And that's a good start.
There's one.
I guess the commentator's curse only works for defensive play. Now, if snooker's required, he cannot be put back. As the result, we'll still have snookers required. If the result of this shot was putting enough points for a tie, he could be put back.
Jackie Way scored 34 points. 4.
So now 47, 43, one snooker required for a tie. So I believe actually if Ali is able to snooker him here, and Jackie misses, he could put him back. I think he's got the snooker here. That green in the way. Definitely the brown's in the way. I wouldn't be surprised if Ali takes this on. He's got the black, because on that final red, there's always that free ball opportunity.
Yeah, come off the top cushion a little bit.
Tension like a final almost, and we're only in the first game of the tournament. It's amazing.
What a shot. Oh, no.
Just a little unfortunate glance off that green.
I think the cue ball rolled a little bit too much as well. He wanted it on the left side of that black ball. He's shooting the red ball to the right side.
Great long pot there. But to remember, this is only the first match. They have a group of 5, so they've got 4 other opponents to play, each of them. But these guys are playing quite well. The defending champion, Ali Al-Assaid.
Look at that cue ball control, getting all the way back up to that yellow. If I was Jackie, I would only practice getting out of snookers, because I think everything else he has in the bag.
I agree. And yes, Wayne, this stream can be found on Facebook. So yes, please share, tell all your friends, all your snooker fanatics that we are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.tv. Just search out Ox Billiards. We're going to be here all weekend long. The action starts at 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, so I think Wayne is over there in the UK. That's around 5 o'clock, around supper time. So a nice little wall actually there with that green and brown. I think that's why Ali's not conceding just yet. Thanks, Sam, for sharing the links in the YouTube channel. That has the links to where you can watch it all on all different platforms. Oh, and there's the concession there. So Jackie takes an impressive one-match win here. Puts himself into the good. Always good getting your first match on the board in these round robins, but defending champion Ali Al-Assaid is not out of it, and we'll be stepping aside for a short little break and be coming up soon with some great snooker action. And so feel free to grab yourself a drink or something to eat, and we'll be right back. And we are back, everybody. Day one of the 2022 United States National Snooker Championship. Glad you're all tuning in. It's David Burney in the booth. We got a great one coming up here. Round robin match with John Poon against CCU. Thanks for all you tuning in on the stream. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV. Search out Ox. Wherever you're tuning in for, feel free to give us a shout out. Let us know where you're tuning in from. You have any comments or questions. We have our good friend David Brock on the stream. Another great DB. There seems to be a lot of them in this great game of snooker. And John comes up with an impressive long pot to get things going. CC is the defending Seattle Open champion and runner-up in the BC Open champion, so to lean maybe towards CC here in this match. Don't know a lot about John Poon, but definitely being a Canadian and American soil, I'm finding out a lot about these players as both Mike Dominguez and I, who was in the booth, we found out a lot about Jackie Wee, who took his match over defending champion Ahmed Ali Al-Sayed. So, and they're just working out the scoreboard a little bit, as most players are used to the old wooden sliding score system. But as the world evolves, so does technology. So, it takes a little bit of getting used to. And game on.
This is going to ruin CC's average shot time.
Yeah, CC definitely a very a swift player. He doesn't play careless shots, but he knows what to play, and he gets down and goes to it.
Yeah, it is not an exaggeration to say that Ox wouldn't be here without the help of CC. So it's kind of a strange situation here. It's kind of surreal. He's on the stream, playing in the Nationals in my club. When back in 2017 we first met. I didn't know what the hell snooker was. Just wanted to learn, and he was there to help me along the way. So, close friend.
But remember, there's no bias in the commentating booth.
No.
But there is on the stream. Feel free to push your support for either player. The nice rest shot there by CC to be very nice on the black. You know, being in his home state, you got to favor CC a little bit. He might be hoisting that Tom Collins trophy come Monday night.
Yeah, Empire Billiards is a sponsor. They donated money to this cause. So he is the owner of Empire. For those of you that don't know, it's a snooker club, billiards club in Redmond, just across the lake. It's an unlikely miss there.
Just a little funny bridging. Thanks, USSA. CC is the number 3 seeded player in America. It was a runner-up back in 2019. Obviously, in 2020, things happened, and snooker went down by the wayside, definitely in North America. I was really fortunate that the team over in the UK really battled against adversity, and as much as there was no crowds, they still were able to bring live professional snooker, and I think that's how a lot of people got back into the game, because it was one of the few sports that was still live and being able to view. Oh, the USSA is correcting me. CC's the 4th seeded player. I feel I was baited into a trap there almost. Interesting. Yeah, if you watch CC, obviously some of our camera shots you won't be seeing a lot of the player, but there's a great shot now. Just watch CC. Only his back arm is swinging. The only movement there. Oh, he misses there, but he's very still on the shot. Just that back arm, the only one that should be moving. And the whole body when you're down on a shot. So great form that CC has, and it shows. He's a well-accomplished player over here on the American scene.
Yeah, CC and I were talking yesterday about Nick Barrow visiting the Seattle area. He'll be at Empire October 9th, and CC was just flat out told me, I don't know what I don't know. And I need somebody to just diagnose my troubled areas, and Nick is the man to do it.
Yes, and Nick Barrow's coming up to Vancouver and chatting with him. I told him I hope you have a couple of years because there's a lot of things with my game that need to be oiled out. Yeah, if you live in the Vancouver or Seattle area, and I think also as well Toronto, Canada, and New York, Nick Barrow, world-renowned snooker coach, is going to be coming over here, providing coaching sessions for anyone that's interested. Check him out on his website, www.thesnookergym.com, and get yourself enlisted. Should be some great fun. He's done some wonderful work with Ding Junhui, actually. And Ding is a world-class player, so Nick, who does love the game, played, I think he might have played a little bit professionally. David Brock, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but at one point just felt like, when you play professional, you got to give it 100%. If you have that little 99%, you might as well just pack the bags and do something different. You have to be 100% in. And so he found out that he just wasn't all in playing, but didn't hang up his cue and wanted to provide knowledge to all that are wanting to get into this game and improve their skills. Alidair 21 asks about entry fees and prizes and stuff like that. Well, we'll get our team to do some research. So hopefully I can find something out for you as the tournament progresses. So stand by for that, but feel free to tune in all weekend long, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get that information to you at some point.
David Brock is in the chat. I'd like to hear your views on CC. You met him here in the Seattle Open and saw him not drop a frame during that tournament. But coming from the UK and watching CC play in person, any insights about his game? Let us know in the chat.
Well, as a fellow DB, all I'd have to say is impressive. CC is definitely a player that knows his way around the table. Don't know really actually his history of how he got into the game. It'd be interesting to chat with him. Sometimes with these tournaments we just are thrown into it and we don't get a lot of time to just socialize with the players, as we want to bring you the great streaming action and provide wonderful commentary to you. So I think as we progress more and more in the sport, we'll get more time. The luckiest player in Seattle, that's what David says about CC. Oh,
Luck counts.
you do need sometimes a little bit of luck in this game, that's for sure. But I think if you're knocking on the door, eventually it's going to open.
I think Evan Reyes is credited as saying, the more I practice, the luckier I get. Or maybe it was Jesus. I don't know who said that.
Was Jesus lucky? Let's just keep the religious business out of snooker right now. Let's just... I don't know if Jesus was a cueist. I think he was a carpenter and a motivator of people. He knew how to captivate a crowd, I think.
Yeah. David Brock says, lovely guy and a good solid player about CC.
Mentions Gary Player, you think? Gary Player, the South African golfer, David? It is possibly late in the UK, so that autocorrect might be working overdrive.
Nice.
Yeah, Chuck is mentioning the snooker gods. Yep, sometimes those snooker gods are on your side. Sometimes they're against you. There's a great, actually, BBC series, 3-part series called The Gods of Snooker. For all you snooker fanatics, it's definitely worth a watch because you have a good, rich history of the game. And just wanted to pause on that, Blue, give CC the respect there. But yeah, the Gods of Snooker did a lot of the telling was of the boom that snooker had in the 80s. It just was the sport in the UK. Took over football, aka soccer, which is amazing.
I tend to mumble. You must be Cliff because you're from Canada.
Oh yes, Cliff and I do share that one thing. We both have mustaches, but unfortunately it's not Cliff Thorburn. It's David Burney in the booth. Nice shot there. That was tricky coming off the cushion, and especially with that amount of pace. But it's all right, Woogie Man. Next time I see Cliff, I'll let him know I've been mistaken for you. But then he might flash his world championship ring, and then I'll be deflated.
David Brock mentions Jay Ma, another player with a great potential and an absolute gentleman to play. Yeah, Jay is one of those really nice guys and very talented.
It's nice in snooker, nice guys don't finish last.
No. Not unless they're terrible at the table.
So you've got my MO down, I guess.
Came up a little short for that green, but it's probably all right.
Yeah, you see.
Opted for the yellow.
Players now have all the tricks in their cue case. They got the mini butt, telescopic extension, as you can see. CC is using here, not at full extension, but just got to be mindful of that black. Doesn't want to put any fabric of his shirt on it, or that would be a 7-point foul. I guess Woogie Man, I've never had the Cliff Thorburn impersonation in my arsenal, but maybe I should start doing it. But definitely over in the UK, Mr. Thorburn is definitely treated nicely, that's for sure. When I was over there in Sheffield, I was amazed by seeing some 8 and 9-year-old boys who loved playing the game of snooker were just amazed that Cliff Thorburn was walking by them. So it's just really a nice sight to see.
He's a very humble guy, very nice. Cliff is. During the COVID closures over at Bays, we would have Zoom calls or team calls or meet calls or whatever. We'd have virtual meetings, and he would talk to some of our club members, encouraging them to continue the game, giving them a few tips, and they were all just enthralled to meet him, even if it was virtual. Says a lot about the guy.
Great shot there by CC. Yeah, Cliff's stand-up guy. Nice to know him. He flattered me completely. I was at the Top 147 club, and I knew he was in town, so I might pop by, say hello or something like that, because I had met him before. And, came in the room, saw that he was coaching, so I kind of did my own business. And then all of a sudden, David! I see Cliff coming towards me and giving me a shake on the hand, so definitely a stand-up chap.
Yeah, it's cool. A legend knows your name.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chuck, I don't know if I have Graham Dott in the wheelhouse. I'll have to, work on that, Scotsman. Maybe we can someday get Graham over here to do some commentary, and Dominic Dale. Dominic Dale, very passionate about the Q Sports. Haven't had a chance to meet him, but hearing about him, he's just so well-versed in knowledge about this game. So,
I would love to have Ken Doherty come over here and commentate, do an exhibition.
The darling of Dublin. He does want to make it out to the West Coast. A few years ago, I was just reading a snooker article with him, and he was saying places I'd like to travel are Australia and Vancouver. So I reached out to him on the Twitter, and we've actually got to know each other through that, and we share a passion for great socks.
Yeah, there are two kinds of people in this world. There are sock people, and there are people who just don't care about socks. You are a sock person, and you're a bow tie person too. But I know a few sock people, and it's just their thing. They have the craziest socks.
A person is not defined by their actions, but by the socks they wear.
Yes. Jamie is a sock person. We were in Scotland, and she bought a pair of socks with bottles of scotch on them, and they said, "Scotch on the socks."
All righty.
She loves her socks and her scotch.
Yeah, Chuck, that's a nice little impression of Ken over there. We're in front tree, and the score is 30-30. Got to get going. It's We have to get Dave Daly into the booth. He's got a nice Irish twang, so we'll just see what can happen there.
Oh, nice pot there. Setting up for a little break.
Yeah, John could
Do some damage, right?
definitely could get him right back in the game. No, Aladair 21. I hope I'm pronouncing your handle correctly. There's no problem with questions. We're here to answer them. They're using number 10 Strachan cloth. And they're playing on star tables. Really top notch. You know, they've got the heater underneath. Played a little bit on these tables, and it's very interesting because you think your ball's going to stop and it rolls another 5 inches.
Just like it did there. I don't think you wanted the cue ball so high. Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, it takes some time to get used to these tables. They're unlike any other table. And so John is at a slight disadvantage there with CC being a local, playing in leagues here and playing in tournaments here. That's the benefit of having the nationals in your hometown.
Yeah, you can play on the tables where the tournament's going to be. And it is interesting. When I was amazed up in Sheffield at the last year's World Championships, Sam Lee, who is on the stream, chiming in about some comments. He and I traveled over there together, and we came across a snooker club called Spot On Snooker Club. And I tell you, playing on those tables, the cloth felt like a shag carpet. It wasn't gliding like these ice rinks that you have here, Mike. So it's interesting when they have the difference between the club tables and then academies as well. Like I got a chance to pop into the Ding Academy in Sheffield, and yeah, that's a top-notch facility right there. They have about 20 tables like the ones you're seeing on the screen right now, and really committed to. People are serious about it. They're coming in and wanting to play, where some of these snooker clubs are more of a social environment where men and women and children can kind of go after the work day and just relax and play a good game of snooker with a friend.
So I missed the result of Dave Daly's match. Do you know?
Unfortunately, Dave was defeated 2-1. If people are wondering out there in the stream, you can also go to cloudsnooker.com to see all the results. You'll see up-to-date scoring on the matches that are in progress. We have 4 tables in the room, so lots of great snooker action. And you'll also be able to see the standings as this tournament has started off with 8 groups. I believe we have 6 groups of 5 players and 2 groups of 4. And the top 2 in each group will move on to a 16-player knockout round, whittling down to 1 competitor that will be crowned the 2022 United States National Snooker Champion and be able to hoist the Tom Collins Trophy.
Jay, it looks like you took a quick 1-frame advantage down in the second frame.
Aladair 21. Good to hear you play out of the Arizona Snooker Academy. Ramil, he's up there. Good to meet him for the first time. I believe that Arizona Academy is where Mr. Young Keanu Reeves was playing earlier this year. I really enjoyed what you guys were doing down there. Brought him back to his early days as a kid in Toronto, playing a lot of snooker, so...
You know snooker's a good sport if Keanu is playing it. I love that guy.
Yeah, Point Break, great movie. The original, not that remake. Don't waste your time with that.
I like his Scanner Darkly.
But who can forget Bill and Ted's?
Oh, yeah, of course. Whoa, I don't know if he meant that.
I think there's that. We go back to that luck. So that goes back to now the foul and a miss. Remember we were talking about the foul and miss and the 3 attempts. So obviously, if John was doing that intentionally, that would have been phenomenal and is deserving that 12 points. But I think there was that element of fluke on that shot. So Cece's only going to really potentially give up 12 points.
For those on YouTube, open up a new tab, go to YouTube again, and search Kick Safe. Shane Van Boning versus Francisco Bustamante. And if you're a snooker lover, you should watch that as well. The object of the game is to snooker your opponent on a 9-foot snooker table, and they do a ton of kick safes. And if we were watching that shot in that match, it would be on purpose, but I'm pretty sure this one was a fluker.
9-foot snooker table?
9-foot pool table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you said snooker.
Sorry.
Good hit there by CC. And that pink blocks the path for the pocket that red into the top right corner pocket. Yeah, my father, who never had a snooker table, but said he would always invest in a snooker table because you can play snooker on a snooker table, you can play 8-ball on a snooker table. You can't play snooker on an 8-ball table. It'd be pretty crowded. Now that was an intended snooker there by CC. Great shot there. Green gonna hick him up a little bit.
Yeah.
Ooh, tongue twister earlier this morning.
He's going to have to go left if he wants the one cushion escape.
So, good hit there by John. Could have been a lot costlier for him. But 29 on the table, and there's 35. 35 on the table and 29 in it, so still anybody's frame. Yes, man. We'd love to have referees, but it's a small family over here in North America. We do know that some players are making the trek over to the UK, whether it be taking coaching or refereeing courses. A few years back in 2018, we did have the great Michaela Tabb come over to Vancouver and also Toronto, and she had, I think, about 32 students in total in both cities. learning the ways of a referee and hearing the ins and outs. So
we would love to get her back in here for another course.
well, don't you want to fire up that private jet of yours, Mike, and maybe she could come back for the final?
Yeah. Got it parked out back. It's all good. Yeah, there's so many people and personalities that we'd love to have here. And the demand is growing on both sides. A lot of players want to come here, and a lot of our customers and members want to see certain players and coaches. It's exciting that just in a year we were having this demand already. But we can't ignore the refs. They're a critical part of this game, and as well as coaching. We got to develop coaching in America. We have to develop a referee course in America. That was a close shot there. Still a lot of work to do, but I think that we're fully capable of doing it.
Yes, if you look at snookercanada.com, their website, they have been developing programs about table mechanics, which are really important, referees and coaching. So feel free to check them out at snookercanada.com. And you can find out where a coaching or refereeing seminar is going on. Because I'm with the referees being trained, they also do double duty sometimes as markers, which is also important. Markers, aka scorekeepers. And if we want to continue the line of movie references, if you build it, they will come. So we're trying to build it up, and you people tuning in, great to hear you're tuning in. From wherever you are, let us know. This is a global game. I think it's played in almost 130 countries. Like snooker is all over the place, that's for sure.
You hear that, Olympics?
Yeah, I was really disappointed that they didn't get into the Paris Olympics of 2024. It would have been nice, Mike. You and I could have head over there, maybe done some commentary for the North American sides, the Canadian and the American sides, and enjoyed some of that great French butter and cheese.
And some French fries. Never been to France.
Well, I was in France back in 2005, and that's where I found a love for the French butter. It is out of this world.
Is it better than Irish butter?
Oh,
really?
Night and day. The French butter is just, maybe, Louis Pasteur gave pasteurization to the whole world, but then he kept a little secret formula only for the French to make this wonderful cheese, or butter, I should say.
Where at in Texas? Someone's in Texas? Yeah. My ears are perked up.
Yeah, Chuck Jones talking to Dr. Snooker. The doctor tuned into our stream for the women's event and found out that he was down in Houston. As he's now on my emailing list. He'll know what's going down in British Columbia, Canada for any snooker events. You can reach me there at snookerdave21@gmail.com. But please, no spam. Let's just keep it related to snooker, and I can put you on my mailing list and let you know, because we will be having the BC Open in February. Fingers crossed, obviously.
That was an unfortunate bounce off the knuckle for Cece, and a fortunate bounce off the knuckle for John. Oh goodness! Maybe he was intending to do the snooker this time, but it looked like he was definitely going for that pot.
Yeah, he was quite off on that pot, actually. I almost think he was playing for the snooker, but it's tough to say because there's 29 on and there's 35 on the table.
Possible 8 points here. The yellow's in a good spot. Green looks iffy.
Nice shot right there. It's tricky with the rest just to stun over for that black. John looked like a seasoned pro there.
Yeah. Unlucky on the angle. Probably wanted the opposite angle going up the table. But let's see what it can do. The yellow is it's a potable ball, but you want to give yourself a chance to get on the green in some fashion. Oh, trying for that safety.
He might have been trying to pot that in the green pocket. I think safety would have been the better shot to play there, probably a better safety. But it's always tough when you're trailing in a frame. It feels like you have to do something positive and get a pot in, where sometimes a great defensive shot can be a great positive.
Yeah, glad you mentioned that. The pro commentators do harp on positivity as being trying to pot the ball. And whenever I hear that, they're like, that was a negative shot because they played safe. I don't know if that's true. You can have a positive, safe play. It's not always about, I'm going to make this and keep going, and that's a positive shot.
Yeah, I just wonder if he's got an angle here. Clip off that green, come 2 cushions behind the black or the pink. Electing to put his green ball by there.
John W. Coon scored 8 points. 1.
Sure, we only have a couple of angles that from our vantage point in the booth where Cece, who's down on the table, can see all angles. Yes, Woogie Man, these are heated star tables. These are the cream of the crop. Though I do know sometimes they have a few events that the Pro Tour has the Rasson tables.
Yeah, they're definitely making their way on the pro circuit. Heard some good things about the Rassons. I have never played on one. But we do have 8-9 foot Rasson Ox pool tables that play amazing. Love them. They're a very fast table. So they make a quality pool table. I would imagine they make a quality snooker table. Hopefully someday I'll play on one.
Oh, where's this green going? Oh.
Yeah, Woogie Man? My eyes are terrible. Is that how you pronounce that? Woogie Man?
Woogie Man 007, it looks like. Your eyes are terrible. You're playing in an hour.
Yeah.
Have you realized what you've just said, Mike?
I'll be back in the booth in no time.
Where's the betting form for your match? Please sign me up.
They are terrible. I have blind spots all over the place. Like, I have retinal bleeding, so like if my eyes were a camera, I would have spots on my sensor. They're not on the lens. They're not floaties, and they're not cataracts. They are dead spots. It's insane.
Yet still, he has a great passion for this game, plays, and has created this wonderful club ox billiards. So, hats off to you, Mike.
So Woogieman in the chat says, never played on a heated table. One day, I hope. So if I were you, wherever you are, I can't remember, but look for a carom table, because those tables are also heated. It is a trip to play on a heated table. So just go to a 3-cushion spot.
So Snookers are required now with a 23-point lead for CC. Apology, 30-point lead. Not sure where you're tuning in from, Captain Tsubasa. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your handle correctly, but it's the first time I've met you. We're glad that you are tuning in. Reach out to your, every country, I believe, because maybe not every country, but a lot of countries do have a governing body for the game of snooker. Maybe source some information out on the internet. Great long pot. That should definitely seal the frame. A good tap on the table. Good sportsmanship there by John. But I'll refer to you as the captain. Let us know what country you're tuning into. This is a U.S. National Snooker Championship, so it's only open to U.S. citizens. So CC takes that first frame, 1-0. In the match, he's up 1-0. Always good to get the first frame on the board. And the bracket, Shu Chen, is up on cloudsnooker.com. That's where you'll find all the players, all the brackets. Captain, we'll look into Mexico and see what's going on down there.
Hey, do you play snooker in Mexico? Because I know the PABSA is looking for a Mexican contact. So could that be you, Captain?
There you go. And frame 2 in our featured match here between CCU and John Poon will be coming up very shortly. And there's a great view of the room here in Ox. And we'll be right back. And we're back here with frame 2 of this first match of Group D between CCU and John Poon. David Burney is in the booth with you. I've been joined by Mike Dominguez, and I'm pretty sure throughout the weekend we'll be joined by many great snooker enthusiasts, players, and pundits alike. Dr. Snooker, there is no bow tie required in the group stage. We've given the option, but it's nice to see that all players are applying to the correct dress code of dress pants, dress shirt, vest. So it really gives a good presentation to the game. And so the bow ties are optional until we get into the latter part of the tournament. Yeah, there are a few places over there, Woogie Man 007, that do have these heated tables, but I heard that it is, the boom was in the 80s where everyone was pretty much picking up a cue, and it's just not as strong as it used to be. But things go in circles, so who knows? We could see. Obviously, it's great to see that we have a 38 player field for a U.S. National Snooker Championship. To look a little bit more at the history books. I do not know how long this national tournament has been running. I do know coming the spring in 2023 at the Corner Bank in Toronto, that will be the 50-year anniversary of the Canadian National Tournament. We have a few fortunate in-offs from CC in this frame. Has given John an early lead, but multiple reds there available. Well, I'm not sure what the scene's like in Detroit, Chuck. But the previous player, Ali Al-Said, he's out of the New York Athletic Club, so he throws some tournaments there. I think if you look onto the USSSA website, you should be able to find that's a good listing of various snooker competitions going on in the country. Dr. Snooker, thank you for that. That the U.S. National started in 1991 with Mr. Tom Collins winning it. So he's the name of the trophy the players are all shooting for, and his son, Tom Collins, is playing in the tournament, Mr. Junior. And he also hails from the Detroit area, so be a good person to chat up with. Going back to that team philosophy, we got a great membership of the team out there on the stream, providing us with great information and history and tidbits about the game. So I thank you all as trying to give you the great action here. Might not have time to jump onto that great encyclopedia on the computer called the internet.
I want to give a special shout out to WPBSA for giving us access to this great scoreboard. Makes us look legit.
It's good to know that there were a lot of people quickly entering this tournament, says the United States Snooker Association. And they would have liked to have more entries. Just the trouble is you have 4 tables, which is great, obviously, but these tournaments can run a while. The snooker, it's not carbon copied of how a frame is going to work. It can go scrappy, it can go quick. So it's always a guessing game, and you want to give a healthy amount of time for the tournament to run. But as we all are amateurs here, just loving the game, most of us, I'd say the high percentage of players here and behind the scenes people have another job that they do. They just come out and love the game and want to support it that way. So you can't have a tournament running for a couple of weeks or something like that. That would be maybe pretty costly for people to take time off work. But slowly, as I've always alluded to, the baby steps, we're growing and growing. And hopefully soon enough we'll maybe be able to have clubs or maybe have the mechanics and the labor to get, maybe a 6-table setup in, a hockey arena or a basketball arena. I know that they've kind of done that sometimes in the UK, where you've got that nice tiered seating and you can watch about 6 tables in action. All great ideas, and hopefully we can implement them, and we'll just continue to grow.
Yeah, we're definitely thinking ahead. And we're trying novel, innovative ideas to grow the sport, keeping up with demand. It's a frustrating thing to have the demand and not be able to satisfy it in terms of continuing to bring better and better events. So we're always looking for opportunities. It begins with money. It begins and ends with money. So sponsorships are important.
So if there's anyone out there that wants to make a charitable contribution, welcome it thoroughly. So John Poon, not really phased right now. He's just slow and steady. It's not a Ferrari racing around the table here. He's got a nice little sedan with these little brakes here and there, and then just running and hiding when he needs to.
Yeah, there's a flipped image of the first frame where CC was all of a sudden ahead 30-9, and you're kind of like, how'd that happen? And, I just looked at the score, and I'm the one scoring, and it's still very surprising, 32-8. Like, how did that happen? Quick little breaks, run and hide. Still a lot of points on the table, but this looks like a pretty good showing by John.
Yeah, I think more and more as we do more of these tournaments, we'll get to know the players a lot more, but we also should encourage them, give us a little a write-up and a picture, because then we can create programs as well for all our audience members in the room, and they can you can find a player what you really like and support them. I remember back in the 80s, I think there was so many great casts of characters that had individual traits and different ways of playing, different dress styles, and all that they kind of built up it's an inadvertent fluke there by John. So, yeah, once you get to hear a write-up or, get to know the players a little bit more, Becky Ramirez is watching from El Paso, Texas. Now, if she was playing, I'm pretty sure Mike Dominguez, who also hails from El Paso, Texas, would be cheering her on thoroughly.
Yeah, how's it going, Becky? How's the weather in El Paso? My hometown.
I just found out that Jim White actually is living in my hometown. Great Canadian player. Lives in Oakville, Ontario, Canada now. Phil Yates had mentioned that on the Snooker Scene podcast. It's always a great place to find out a lot of great snooker information. A lot of it is predominantly catered towards the pro circuit, but recently they did give a shout out to the World Women's Snooker U.S. Open Championship that was here. And I'm pretty sure as I do some correspondence with them that they will be well aware of the U.S. National Tournament. And as we get into autumn, snooker will be coming more and more as the weather gets a little cooler. And that is correct, Dr. Snooker. Jim White and John White own the Corner Bank in Toronto. That's been the host of the Canadian Championships for many years. Had the chance to be in that room a few years ago, and it is definitely a nice room. But I think as the sport continues to grow, more and more rooms are kind of just opening up a little bit more in Canada, and maybe we'll see a Canadian Championship be somewhere else. But those guys still do a great job over there at the Corner Bank. But you never know. It is a Canadian Championship, but maybe it's rooted in there deep like the Crucible with the World Championship. And you are correct. Yes, the Pan Am Seniors and regular event will be held at the Corner Bank in Toronto. I think that runs from October 16th to October 22nd. If you look at PAPS's website, you can find out all the information. This game is, all about momentum. It just doesn't seem like Cece's just been able to find a little bit of a groove here. However, if John lets him in, there's some nice red balls around the black there.
Looks like Will Zhang has beaten Devin Chakraborty. I apologize if I mispronounced that. Will is a member here at Ox, and he beat Devin 2-0.
True, we do our best. That was a nice try there, Mike. Sometimes these players we've never even met before. I arrived into town last night, and I didn't mention to everyone that I will be in the commentary booth. And don't want to mean any disrespect, but please come talk to me. Some of you might have a tricky name to pronounce. I tell you, it took me years to pronounce CCU, but now it just rolls off the tongue.
It's tricky for us. Yeah, somebody who gets his name mispronounced fairly frequently. It's very funny. I always want to try to pronounce people's names.
True, we don't want to be a coffee shop. I know there's I won't name any names, don't want to single anyone out, but I know there's a pretty popular Seattle brand of coffee that is quite global, that I've noticed that people have had quite a variety of names on their cups when they take out their coffee. So this might be a great opportunity for CC here. Those reds are nicely lined up. Black's going to come back on its spot. But can't get too far ahead. Think ahead, know where you got to be, but now he's on the black. Give all your attention to that. Don't think about that other red. Yeah, that looks like that red, the top of the three. We'll go by to the top right corner to stun it there. Stay on the black.
I like how CC doesn't hesitate to just take another look at things. Not just stand up, but take a look at where he wants the cue ball, clear his head, visualize the shot. He's very methodical and, yeah, just just a very solid player.
It is true. Sometimes you can overthink a shot too much. You know, they say it's a thinking person's game, but sometimes you don't want to think too much. You just want to be mind clear, play the shot, carry on. And talking with some of the women that were here from Britain, you know, asking them a bit. Sometimes, you know, when you're a new player and you're getting into it, you know, obviously we see these great players making high breaks. And a lot of the time we get into the unknown. You know, you start making a break of over 30, over 40, over 50. This century could be close. But then you start thinking of that century, and that's the kiss of death. Maybe there, but you got to think about that ball right in front of you and take care of that business before you move on.
Yeah, 100%.
I guess that black didn't go for CC. You know, elected for that blue, so that red he might have just overrun the stun on that last red shot. As well, we mentioned, you know, it was a bit nervy sometimes. You know, they're on the table, they're playing in the tournament, and these guys are getting streamed worldwide. Hopefully they can block that out, but they are aware that sometimes they're on the TV streaming table. And that might just hiccup them just a little bit. What did I say? Impressive?
Yeah.
I think he's living up to it. Just some updates around the room. Joseph Aldalo is up early, 13-11 on Raymond McCarthy. They're just getting started. We have Ahmad Al-Assad, that you saw previously on the TV table, is in a commanding lead in the first frame, 50-4 over Charles Crouch. And here on the TV table, John Poon is up 47-25 over CCU. And I think we're just waiting to get the fourth table underway. My vantage point, I see it's Dave Daly. And he's in battle. I'm not too sure exactly who's in battle, but definitely check out cloudsnooker.com for all the results, all the players in this United States Snooker Championship.
I see Jamie as the tournament director, Jamie Miller. She's helped out with several pool tournaments.
Dave will be playing Raymond Fung, who I think is very active in the USSSA, as he has one of their badges there. And that is a fantastic snooker there by CC. Glued it tight to that black. So this snooker could really help CC get back in the frame. That looks a bit better for John. So not too costly for him. next red is quite important because it's for certain that that blue is going to go into that top right corner pocket, so you don't really want to leave on a red. CC well aware of it, playing a nice safety shot there.
William Crouch on the chat says, keep your eye on Charles Crouch. I agree. I was watching him practice. He was doing a lineup and shooting pretty well on these tight pockets. He also has a really nice temperament. Very nice guy. Very pleasant, even keel.
And he's a tall fella.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to use the rest.
No. He can see the whole table.
Just been informed, yes, Raymond Fung, who's taken on Dave Daly, is the number 2 seeded player in the USSA and was the 2017 national champion. So lots of great ex-champions in the room, lots of wannabe champions. It's just day one of the United States National Snooker Championship live at Ox Billiards here in the Emerald City of Seattle. David Burney's in the booth with Mike Dominguez, the owner-operator of Ox. If you want to open up a room, get in touch with Mike at Ox Billiards. He can make your dreams become reality.
Yeah, always happy to share info. Always happy to help another snooker club out. There really are no secrets these days. Everything's accessible. You can find everything on the web. But it helps to get some experience and advice on where the speed bumps that we encountered were.
A pandemic.
Yeah. It was a little bit of a speed bump. All right, here's a chance.
Chuck, you did hear that right. If you're alluding to Mike Dominguez, he will be playing in the tournament. Mike, are you going to be on the TV table?
No way.
No, we're not going to see the wonderful Oz come from behind the curtain and be on the table.
Nobody wants to see that. Takes some guts to be on this table.
But Cece's been on these TV tables a lot, so he's not really phased at all.
Oh, the pink got in the way. But he still has the yellow. And I think it still might go into its pocket once it's respot.
Yeah, it does look like from our vantage point it does.
Nice little bounce here.
Oh, if it goes, I think he's got a great angle to get on the green, so this is going to hurt John tremendously if CC's able to nip this frame, because takes this frame, he takes this match.
Hey, Chuck, I will definitely pot a red for you. Chuck says, good luck, Mike. Pot a red for me. Yeah, thanks for being on the stream and being an active participant on the chat. Don't be shy out there. Jump on the chat. Be like Chuck.
There are no wrong questions. Just wrong answers that we might have given. We hope our best not to do that.
It's not on purpose. We all make mistakes.
True. Only a well-trained mind is know that you can get a foul if your beard touches the cue ball.
Yes, that was awesome. I thought you were going to. So, in the context of that comment, we were talking about hair, long hair touching the cue ball, as Bex Kenna tends not to put her hair in a bun. It does hang. And I think, yeah, it's going back there. So, I'll let you finish the story while I try to figure out this scoring.
No worries. Yeah, we were discussing hair, and someone on the stream had tuned in, not knowing if there was ever a hair foul. And I was able to report that once Rory McLeod, player on the Pro Tour, his beard actually touched unwanted object ball, and he was forced a foul of 4 points. So
when you were talking about Rory McLeod before you mentioned the beard, I thought you were going to bring up Paul Hunter. Paul Hunter had some locks, and
he did, yeah.
I think at that time so did Ronnie.
Yeah, I think there was a phase where, it seemed like the long hair was the thing to do. As well, Tony Knowles of yesteryear, still playing. He's playing on the senior circuit now.
Peter Ebden.
I think he's got some long locks right now. But yes, Peter, and Peter actually tied it, I believe, back in a ponytail.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So he didn't have one of those
barrettes?
Barrettes, yeah, I think that's what it's called.
I don't know if that's a barrette. Headband, maybe? A hair thing, as my kids used to say.
So our friend Dr. Snooker is just wondering how long this number 10 Strachan cloth lasts, and how often would you need to replace it?
Well, this is not a typical year, but we've replaced these cloths 3 times this year for various reasons. I expect this cloth to last about 10 months, maybe a year. We take good care of these. Oh, goodness. That was close to a 6-point foul. We do take care of the tables. We have great customers that respect the tables, so you don't see many burn marks, if any. And we have the number 10 Strachan on our Chinese 8-ball table, where you're playing pool and heavier balls, and the cloth is holding up nicely. Although I'm looking over there and there's an empty cup on the table. I'll be right back.
Yeah, Mike makes a good point. He's got a great club here, great contingency of members that really want the best conditions. That's kind of the tough thing sometimes, is you want to bring the game to people, but some people come from a rough part and won't give the table that respect. And so sometimes there's some players that really want the best possible conditions, but they sometimes have to realize that they might be in a club where the club is welcoming everyone to play, and they just want it. So hopefully more snooker gets going in in America and gets revitalized in Canada, that we'll see more and more probably just specific snooker clubs. So you'll know that when you come to that club, you're getting top-notch conditions. You're going to be people that are really passionate about the game and want to take care of the table. And hopefully there'll be some other clubs where, that's just the new player can come in and see if it hooks them, and they can know if they're really interested that there's some nice clubs out there to play. But it really just comes down to the owner of the room, how their passion is, because sometimes some people, their passion drops out about the game, and they're just there to, unfortunately, pay the bills, make some money, whereas that's not the case down here. Mike is truly passionate about his cue sports, especially snooker, so he wants to give his players top-notch conditions, and they in turn enjoy it and give him patronage.
Yeah, my hopes are that if another snooker club opens up in the area, that they take our lead and put in some quality tables and build a culture there. And, we can use some more snooker clubs in this area. It's a big area, Seattle. And the more clubs we have, the more leagues we have, the more tournaments we have, the more players we have.
Yeah, and you're right, Dr. Snooker. There is the Strachan Superfine that has just kind of come on the circuit, and that does act like a number 10 cloth. It does have the quickness, and it does have a little bit more durability. So if you wanted to bring it maybe in a club or not a defined snooker club, maybe a place where you're trying to gain interests, it's a good choice to go in because it does give that professional feel, but also has the durability to withstand newcomers and people that just don't know the ins and out of how to respect this great game.
Yeah, Strachan is a sponsor of this and the previous tournament, World Women's. And yeah, to answer your question, Dr. Snooker, before we put on this number 10, we used Superfine because there was a shortage of number 10. So we did try it out for a little bit. I like the number 10 better. We started out with number 10 over at Bay's Snooker Club. Then we put number 10 when we got to Ox. And for a little while we had Superfine. But for these tournaments, and I think whenever it's available, I would opt for number 10.
That's true. I think you make a good point. Woogie Man 007. In the past, it just seemed like in pool halls, they're called pool halls, which kind of unfortunately paints a picture of a dark, smoky-filled room with shady characters at every corner. But they would have a lot of pool tables, and there would be that one snooker table in the back that no one really ventured towards because obviously it's very intimidating, very large. But I think now more and more we're trying to get away from that pool hall mentality. Great snooker there by John. Well done. Sorry to interrupt my thought there, but if we can make it more bright, more open, more family-oriented, so then mom and dad, if Junior wants to go off and go to the snooker club, they'll know it's a safe environment, and it's a great game. I know the Q program in the UK, the Schools of Q Zone, I think it's called, is a tremendous success because the kids are getting out of the classroom. They're not feeling like they're really, who likes to be in a classroom. They're getting out, and then the teachers are enjoying it because the students are learning geometry, addition, and sportsmanship as well. If you make a match, you have to commit to
everything,
it.
really. It does. It's a great sport for kids in that respect.
So if we can make it more of a warming environment, I think that's what will help see the game grow.
And there is no gender or physiological bias in this sport. There's, women can play as good as men. They can aim as good. They can concentrate as good. They can have the same stamina, if I can say that word correctly. But there's, just women just need the access that the men have had for a long time.
It's true. It's not, a strength game.
No.
Shall we say.
And I got a good friend that plays semi-pro football, and she's a linebacker. She's been a safety, a running back, and it's full-on tackle football. She plays for the Majestics, the Seattle Majestics. But I think in that is a wonderful thing to see. Just women doing whatever sport they choose and love and have a passion for.
Definitely. People have a passion. People have a love for something. Should not hinder it at all. Isn't that what we're all trying to achieve? Just, find things that we love to do. Obviously, CC come back in this frame. It's got a 3-point lead, 25 on the table. That blue has just been there hanging out by that puck for quite a while. Surprised that no one's nicked it in for an in-off or anything like that.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that blue ball to drop, but it's pretty safe.
Well, John Boone has definitely put up a good fight here. First frame got a little bit away from him, but he's committed a 4-point foul there. He's not out of it.
He was pretty close on the 2 cushion escape, but then he changed gears and went for the 1 cushion. I would have thought a minor adjustment on the 2 cushion escape may have gotten him out of it. But when he changed tactics, so close. You're kind of starting over, but that first effort is your roadmap, or your scout, as it were.
Yeah, and then you just make those little adjustments, and then you should most times hit it on the second time, unless it is a really well-played snooker. But yeah, you're correct, Mike. You get the lay of the land on that first shot, and minor adjustments help you hit it. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case for John. This is where it gets frustrating as well. You're just in a snooker, and you committed 12 penalty points, and boom, just like that, your opponent puts you right back into a snooker.
I like him to get out of this one.
Just where is the green going to end up? And that is not looking good for John's chances to take this second frame.
So let's see if Cece slows down the last remaining balls just to concentrate on closing this match out.
Not a bad idea there, using the cushion. You know, some players might just want to just tap it just so they can be on the brown, but using the cushion enables CC just to be a bit more positive and through the shots.
Yeah, less chance of deaccelerating. Oh my goodness, on the shot. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. But I think is he fortunate? Well, no, I think he can get by the pink there to hit the brown. Just got to be mindful of that blue. Where's that brown going to end up? Okay, he's okay.
Cue ball. Sandro is in the building, and he's our photographer. Sandro Menzel. You can look for him on Instagram and Facebook. Takes a lot of really nice pool and snooker photos in the Seattle area. Big proponent of the Northwest Women's Pool Association. Does a lot of their tournaments. He was here last weekend.
I just wish he would shoot on film.
Yeah. He does so much. So many tournaments he takes pictures of. I can't imagine having to develop all those.
I was kind of surprised looking at the player list. I didn't see our good friend Aaron Moss.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Love Aaron.
But, you know, as it's an amateur game, maybe he's busy with some things. But if Aaron's tuning in, we wish him all the best. Maybe he can pop by sometime this weekend if he's in town.
Yeah, he signed up for the Nick Barrow class. But he is big in the pool scene as well, so perhaps there was a tournament that he was keen on.
Yeah, as much as we don't plan to put tournaments on the same day, that's good to see that there's more and more tournaments coming about, snooker and pool. So players now have the option of where they want to go. that blue is going to find a home in the bottom pocket. Let's hold up. Maybe, this looks like a nice, actually, opportunity. It's a good angle to cut the pink, get on the black. Can he steal this frame? John Boone, and force us into a decider. Oh, those pockets are just that tight.
Yeah, I think CC was about to regret missing that brown ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I think John's already regretting missing that pink ball. But I think he might have another shot.
It's true, but he's going to have to use all real estate on the table here to get this pink into the pocket and come back down for the black.
Luckily, he's on a fast table.
Sam, we'll try and do some
Not almost
investigative
too
work.
fast.
Yeah, too fast there. We'll try to do some investigative work for you, Sam, and find out the diameter of the tip that CC's used. He's got a good cue ball. That black is, kind of in no man's land, so another black ball final in this frame. John needs the black ball to continue the match. CC needs the black to take the match and put one frame to the good for him and his group. It's a long one, but definitely this is definitely one that CC should have. This was a shot maybe Monday night. It'd be a bit tougher. It still was tough. It was a long one, but the result is he's safe, so not the end of the world.
Yeah, that looked like an uncharacteristic cue action by CC. He's normally very smooth, but it looked like his shoulder moved at the very last second. I don't know if he was trying to correct something at the very last moment.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You'll notice, obviously, we're in the black here, but it's always good to cut the table in half. Tension just building here, building. I don't know, Captain. It could be going to decider, but it just seems like there's been a couple opportunities for CC. It feels like, he makes those shots 9 times out of 10.
Both of them. And this has got to be on the side cushion. It didn't get there.
Is there a touch of an angle? Because definitely if it's straight on, it's very tough, but it looks like CC has a bit of an angle. But once again, this is 11 feet and 11 inches of shot to put it into the bottom of the pocket to win the match.
Can't say that CC hadn't gotten his chances. He had,
Yeah.
3 opportunities, 4 if you count the brown.
Anyone's match here. Great shot there by John Tapir, the black, to tie this match 1 frame apiece. We're going to step aside for a quick little break, and we'll be coming back for this decider. Stay tuned. back here on a deciding frame here between John Poon and CCU. Nice little cut there by CC. So let's see if we can make the most of this opportunity. Got a few reds open in the middle of the table. Ooh.